Welcome back to Camp Conversations. I'm your host, Chelsea Bresnahan. Today's guest on the podcast is a longtime supporter of Camp Freedom and owner of Greenley's Barbecue, Jim Greenley. So, longtime supporter of Camp Freedom. If anybody's been to a major event here at Camp Freedom, they've probably met you. You show up at all of our fundraisers, big supporter. But tell me how you got started within the barbecue business.
We cooked our whole lives. We're a big farm family, of course. And, everybody was like, hey, my daughter's getting married. Can you make that pork? Can you make me a brisket? Can you make some of those ribs? Or, every event our family had. And so, agriculture doesn't really pay that well, and other things that we did, we were like really working hard. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start cooking. And my wife, Marnie, was like, well, she goes, I'll follow you, love you. And it was actually the best thing I ever did.
How long ago was that?
2000, probably 2002.
So I feel like that's, in the grand scheme of things, it's pretty recent.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of life, yeah, for sure. But I had cooked for all the neighbors and everybody, back then, if you're having a party, yeah, buy the meat, I'll bring my unit down. For years, we did that. And it just kind of like evolved to where I was like, I have to do this. I enjoyed it. If you're doing what you love, it's not like work.
Right.
And
so they say.
So they say. Well, if I like the part of it, I try to help people because you see what Bill and Laura started here, and then they integrated Matt in and Birdman and G and all these guys. How do you not want to help them? How do you not want to get involved? And it's not just Camp Freedom. I try to help everybody that helps other people that are less fortunate, and that's it makes you feel good. What's the Bible say? What you give, you get back tenfold over. And I believe that, for sure. For sure. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, for sure. It's great.
So you've helped me out a couple times because in my past life as a news reporter, you did a segment with me where you taught me some of your barbecue skills.
Yeah,
at your event space.
Yes.
Now tell me more about that event space, how that became to be.
I built this beautiful pond and we put a little barn up and we had our first family party there and it wasn't big enough. So I have a friend that lives in Walden, Colorado named DK, and he scribes out these beautiful homes and beautiful buildings. And I said, DK, I need 230 by 30 boxes. I wanted timbers, 2 foot on the small end. And he goes, oh, that's no problem. So we put that together out there upside down, trucked it home, put it together. And it's beautiful. It's really,
it really is.
It's nice. Yeah, it's sharp. It's rustic, but it's beautiful. And we try to host different things there. It's like we don't do too many weddings, family weddings, but like corporate stuff. We have Camp Freedom Day over there. Matt brings everybody over and we feed them. And there's a lot of companies that come down. And it's just enjoyable. We have some mech traps we could shoot. We have a little long range stuff. And now we have our agritourism permit. So we're going to start with some small things like teaching people how to preserve food, canned food, freeze food. And we work with the Penn State Extension Office and like pond health, all that kind of stuff. So that's the direction we're going to go during the week a little bit, maybe on a couple of weekends. We don't have a lot of time, but giving back. People have to learn what our ancestors did to preserve food. At some point, it's a lost art, I feel. And it's helping people again. Yeah.
And you never know when you're going to need those skills.
Exactly. Exactly. You never know.
I do love pickled onions.
They're good, aren't they?
Or banana peppers.
Yes. They're awesome. Yeah. And the trick is to can them properly without losing the crunch.
Right.
Yeah. And it's not hard. It's just, it takes a while to get used to it. But when you do it, it's you need to see it. You need to come over, and then we teach how to, take care of a piece of meat, make a dry rub, and we do some classes like couples. We'll have to have you and Rob over.
Yeah.
Yeah, and bring a couple of your buddies, like maybe Dan. And yeah, we do. It's pretty neat. There's different ways to cook everything. There's, you can smoke it, you can grill it, you can flat top it. And we have these little stations that we built. We cook with swords. My cousin makes these swords for us. He's a blacksmith. Oh, they're beautiful. It's kind of neat.
I feel like all of these people have all of the skills you need to live in medieval times. Like your family is set.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we're ready if there's ever if the grid goes down, we might be able to survive. I think we're going to be.
Are you guys preppers?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit?
A little bit. Not as much as we should.
I did a stint as a prepper myself.
Yeah. What are you going to do? It's like you think about it a little bit. You're like, oh, okay, well, we could, we're good for here.
I have a couple skills. I could garden a little bit. I could sew.
Yeah.
So I feel like, hey, man, I'll trade you some blankets or
right.
some clothing for some of your meat. Like I think I could barter if I needed to.
Exactly. And then we'll show you what you do grow. We'll show you how to preserve it.
There you go.
It's it's not really that hard. It's just got to do it right, because one of the worst things, like one of the most toxic things in the world, is botulism. They'll only take their job, and that comes from like canned food improperly and things like that. So you got to make sure it's right. So that's
stressful.
No, it's not. You'll be fine. Come over. I'll give you a free class. We'll all come over. You can come over, hang out, and we'll.
Because my biggest fear would be, okay, I'm dependent on these preserved foods, these canned foods, to feed me and my family in this crazy time of need, and then I just poison everybody.
Well, that's why you got to learn how to let them seal. If they pop, you know what I mean. You'll hear them all start sealing.
Is that why the cans say, "Hey, if this pops open, do not eat it"?
Exactly, because you let air in there, and that's where it'll grow.
They should teach you these things in school.
Our education system is something that I really probably shouldn't go here while you're recording it, because anything else you do for 12 years, you'd be the master at, wouldn't you? Why don't we teach towards our skills and not just say, here's the cookie cutter square, stay in it, because we're not like that. Anyhow, let's move on from that.
Preserving food could be note to people, the powers that be.
Yes, and how to take care of an animal. Like when we didn't have power and things were different, chickens and pigs were really abundant, because you'd have to. What are you going to do with a whole cow with no power, no freezer? You know what I mean? Unless you're having 150 people over to consume it, or 200, it's going to waste.
Yeah.
So that's why that was so prevalent. Your smaller animals.
So when you preserve, so what would they do? Okay, we've got this cow, we slaughter it, we get the hide, and then what do you do with all the meat? Do they preserve them like, here's the leg and here's the body?
No, you have to put them in different pieces. You'd probably make jerky, pen them in, hardtack, things like that. Like you've seen old movies, I'm sure. They go, I'll take 10 pounds of bacon and 5 pounds of hardtack. And that would be dried, cured meat, Okay. And you can preserve meat in beef tallow or clarified butter. If you clarify butter, you can leave it on your windowsill for a long, long time.
Long time.
Doesn't go bad. You took all the bacteria out of it. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Like when you make a béarnaise sauce, you have to use clarified butter.
We're learning so much today, and we're not even 10 minutes in.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Well, Jim Greenley has all of the survival skills you need.
Yeah. I hope.
Hopefully you don't have to use them, and they can just be a fine art.
Yes.
And people go to get the rustic experience.
Yes, exactly.
Well, now you and your family also have a big a lunch situation going on in Tunkhannock, too. That's your daughter.
Yeah, that's Liv and Ryan, my daughter, my son-in-law, and my daughter. They run 120 Bridge Street, and we also leased the kitchen off the Wyoming County Healthcare Facility, and helped them out because that's a nonprofit that was our healthcare system. Another thing we shouldn't talk about probably, but so they had a little trouble with that. They got it running, and it was great. And I was like, hey, we could use a bigger kitchen. They were like, hey, we could use help. People are coming, you got to fast all night and give your blood. And they do a lot of that work up there. And then they need a coffee or a bagel or a juice or a milk. And they really didn't have enough support staff. So that works out for them and us because we use it for our commissary for everything that we do. And then we have the cafe open from 7 a.m. to 3, 5 days a week. And it kind of works, you know. Good people find each other, Chelsea. That's how we found each other because you're awesome.
Oh, thanks, Jim.
Yeah. Perfect.
Now, you do some fun stuff. You get to travel with this kind of work. Did you ever think you'd be traveling and hanging out with NFL teams?
Probably not when I started, but when that door cracked open and someone, this guy kept coming by the bus and his name was Chris and he was dressed up and I was like, he's like, hey, I was by myself working and, you know, you make all your money in an hour at lunchtime. And
where was this?
It was on Route 6.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah,
this was when you just had, a food truck?
Yeah, 2000 probably. I started like 2002.
Okay.
And he kept coming by and I talked to him. A really nice guy. We're super tight now. But anyhow, he came by. Finally, his timing worked out. He came by about 1:30 after the lunch rush. And he asked me if I would do a barbecue in New Jersey. And I was like, if you're paying, I'm going. You know, he's like, well, sure. I'll be in touch. And there's an older fellow by the name of Dick Locken. He owned Locken's Market in Nicholson. Gem of a man. I bought my meat from him. So he was getting up there and he came over and he said, hey, I'm going to get rid of the grocery store. I said, what are you going to do? He says, I'm coming to work with you every day. I learned a lot from that. He was like a history book with meat. That's all they've ever done. And I said to him, I said, hey, you know what that Chris guy wanted? And he's laughing. He goes, what do you want, kid? And I'm like, he wants us to go do a barbecue for MLB Network. And he's like, he kind of choked. He goes, you're so gullible, kid, but I love you. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. And he goes, we'll see. 2 weeks later, we were all trekking to Secaucus to do 900 to 1,000 people for MLB Network. And then, you know, we were successful because we don't fail. You know, with the relentless pursuit of perfection, well knowing nothing's perfect, but along the way we'll grab greatness. New Rockney from the 20s. I recite that to myself when you're eating adversity. But yeah, that's kind of how that started. But Dick was laughing, and then we went down. And he goes, "Wow!" I was like, "Yeah, there's John Smoltz, Al Leiter, Harold Reynolds, you know, all those guys coming through the chow line. Hey, brisket guy, this is great. Thanks." You know, that's
hey,
where
brisket guy.
Yeah, that's what they call. Well, nobody knows you. They
Yeah.
don't, you know. I was never on TV. I never threw a no hitter. You know what I mean? But it was great. That's kind of where it all snowballed. And of course, you know, everybody else heard about the new guy in town down there that did this and that, and it turned out well. And we just kind of went from there. And then it was, you know, another team would call, you know, and it was fantastic. And you know, we did what we said we could do. And that's big in this world today.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had fun with it, but we do work with a couple different teams. It's kind of neat, you know.
Now, how does working for a team and feeding them lunch conflict with what team you're a fan of? Or are you just now like, hey,
no,
I'm Switzerland in the game of NFL?
No, I'm just a fan of whoever's paying us that week.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the way you have to be. You wear that shirt with pride and smile and do the best job you could do because that door is going to open another door. Well, you know the NFL, how short their careers are.
Yeah.
They all have kids. They all get married. They all have graduation parties. They all have house parties. And if it's really good, guess what they do? Hey, I need that guy's number. And that kind of like, okay, then you go there. And it's just the door's open. The door's just open. And if... you know, I've never been too timid about jumping through a door that cracked if I thought it was, you know, something we wanted to do. And that's how it kind of snowballed into that.
I've noticed now going into DC and kind of, you know, leaving the Valley and going places and meeting new people, I find out how small the world is. I'm reminded almost every day. Do you feel that in the NFL space at all? There's
only 32 owners, 32 directors of football operations. That's not a lot of guys. And so once that gets rolling, and it's the thing is you can only their budget is their budget. So what their stipend is for this party, that's how elaborate you can go. And we worked with this one team for quite a while, actually the Jets. And then last year, we talked them into blowing it up into where we bring down the fire truck and everything else. And right after that party, I had Penn State call me because someone that went to Penn State worked for the football team there. Hey, will you do our celebrations? Hey, then it was Maryland, then it was Delaware. You know, they all call, hey, will you do our celebrations? Well, yeah. And that's the beauty of doing a good job. And if I say Chelsea, I can definitely make sure all the food's hot. I'm going to feed your 20 guests and it's done. You're like, oh my God, there's no hassle. There was nothing. We had the HRC in Honesdale 2 years ago, started using us. And, you know, we had everything out. And, you know, I never worked for them before, and they're a pretty big company. And he comes over and he goes, you were on time. The food was hot and you're ready to go. There was no headaches. Would you do all our stuff? And I'm like, well, try to fit it in, you know, but that's just what it is. It's like today we've lost the art of honesty, integrity, and just do it. If you say you can do it, you got to do it and perform and make sure it's good, solid. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
No excuses.
No.
You agreed to this. This is what we said. Boom, boom, boom.
And we're not like roofers. A roofer, I have several friends that are roofers, but if it starts raining, hey, we can't work today. Hey, it's pouring down rain, but we still got 150 people to feed here or 900 to feed there. It does not matter. You eat the adversity. And I guess that's why I'm good at that, I guess, you know, MacGyver in it. You got to do something and change it up a little bit, you know. My wife tells me I could fly by the seat of my pants and come out smelling like a rose sometimes. But that's adversity is all that is. You know, you got to eat the adversity, jump over it, move out of your way and conquer it. We've had a lot of adversity too. A machine going down, 600 people for lunch at 11, and salmon was our number one. This happened a couple of years ago. And yeah, the gearbox went out on the machine. So we built a rack, built a fire in the parking lot, put a piece of steel down. We did all the salmon over an open fire. And I said, wow, this is kind of like cooking it South American style. And everybody was like, oh, yeah, that's great. And I'm like, really inside, you're like, yeah, exactly. It's, you know, I don't know. I guess I've been always good at doing that. So that's kind of why we're successful, I think.
So when you prep all of these things, I feel like you have to do a lot of math.
Yes.
Like how many ounces of salmon is one person going to eat?
And I'll get into that a little bit. It depends on if you're blue collar or white collar.
Really?
Yes. People laugh at me. We'll have a sit down. We'll have a little consultation and give them a little, you know, this and that. You know, you want to try this food, that food, a little tasting. And I'll be like, so you're going to have 250 people at your gathering? Yeah. Okay. Are we like percentage wise, blue collar, white collar? And they look at you like, I'm like, well, no, I need to know because the white collar crowd, you need to up the salads and lower the meat portions. The blue collar crowd, kind of like, you know, the everyday Joes, they'll eat twice as much proteins as,
really?
Yes, all that little, that's what you learn as you go. Wisdom is, you know, comes with age for sure. But yeah, all little different things like that, you know, in the different areas of the country, like, you know what I mean? Like Boston baked beans, you better bring the beans when you're around our area, Northeast corridor of the United States. But then you get down into the Carolinas and that, and they're like, well, what kind of beans are these? Because they go a totally different route. And that's the beauty of food, though. The culture, the way they change, you know, that's great.
And even up and down the coast, it changes that much.
Sure. Yeah, it does. Like, you go to some place, if you have beans in your chili, they'll be like, what'd you put beans in that for? They don't put beans in their chili, only around here.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of little things like that. Little subtle things that you don't even realize.
You know, I guess a lot of the hot dog shops don't put beans in there. They call them chili dogs, and it's just beef.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you come
Today years old.
Yeah, right. It's different culture. You know, you go to Texas and you don't see a lot of, you know, pork barbecue. They call it, pork barbecue. They call it barbecue because they're chopping the whole hog through the Carolinas. They're doing this. I like to just do the Boston butts. That's what I like to do. It's the best part of it. It's you know, they're 7 to 9 pounds per butt. You're not doing a 200-pound pig. I'm not saying I don't do pigs. I mean, we do them, but there's a lot of waste, a lot more work, and the finished product is not as good as just a Boston butt, which is actually the top of the shoulder.
It's not even
the
rear.
The Irish must have been drunk when they were doing that up in Boston, because it's the shoulder, the top of the shoulder, but it's called a Boston butt. Yeah. That's kind of funny. That's what I always say. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's my theory. Like, I don't know why they call it a butt either, but it's top of the shoulder.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so the guy from Nicholson taught you all of that?
Dick Locken, wonderful guy.
Wow.
It's like how to make sausage and how to do that. They had, since his family moved over here to put the viaduct.
Oh,
I don't want to call it the Nicholson Viaduct or Tunkhannock Viaduct. When they built that, his family came from Holland, because people came from all over the world. Did you ever read that book on that?
No.
Oh, that's a beautiful structure.
Okay. I mean, I've looked
it's like 7 wonders of the world, right?
Flown around it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, their history of the Locken family, which they're all wonderful people. They came over here and they opened a store. And that's when that started. And I met the Lockens probably in the early 70s. And, then we started buying our meat there, and then we went in business and we're still buying our meat there. And then Dick came to me and said he was closing, like I said before. And I laughed a little bit. So what are you going to do? He says, I'm coming over here every day. Probably the best thing that ever happened to me, besides me meeting Chris, my buddy that opened the other doors.
Okay.
But like I said a couple of times, good people find each other. And that's the truth in this world, like, be content knowing that you're right where you're supposed to be, and let you be peaceful with that. Let that sink into your bones so your soul could sing, dance, praise, and love. And that's all you need to do in life. And just be content with what you're doing. Be content where you're at. And I think that's how I roll. I tell my kids, you can do anything you want. Anything you want. If you want to pump gas, go ahead, because if you do it right, you do the best of your ability, you'll own 30 gas stations by the time you're 40. It's like, whatever, follow your passion. Like, you're passionate about what you do. I know you are. It shows, and you're good at it. And I think that's where people miss the boat a little bit. Not all of us are as happy as the rest because we haven't found our groove yet.
I feel like I needed to hear, be content where you are. Because so many times I'm worrying about what's next, what I have to do, what's coming, and am I prepared for it? I'm somebody that struggles with just live in the moment.
Yes.
just be here.
You got to know that you're right where you're supposed to be and be content with that.
Yeah.
But with that knowledge, let it sink into your bones, and your soul will be able to sing, praise, be happy, and love. And that's it. Life is so easy after you take that theory and put it to work. You're right where you're supposed to be. Like, you and Rob are doing what you're supposed to do.
Okay, good.
You can't change. You can't change tomorrow.
No, just
live today.
And that is something that I've had to. I feel like throughout this whole process, I say my thick skin is still growing, because you have to have thick skin. I mean, even in the
what
media,
you guys are doing,
now what we do. Whoa! Yes. And you just have rules. There are rules. Don't read the comments. Don't look at the newspaper. Don't watch commercials. You just don't do those things, because otherwise you would just go crazy.
Your nickname would be Mad Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it would drive you bonkers.
Oh.
Live in the moment. Know that you're content
just
with
know that
what
you're
doing.
The right thing.
Yeah. And do it better than anyone else. It doesn't matter what you choose in life. Just do it better than anyone else. And, try to anyhow. Be happy. Yeah. Smile. That goes a long way, for yourself and others.
And I think the first time you met my husband was at one of your concerts.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep. We do. Well, this year we're doing 2. June 13th is just our barbecue and music, like party. We have a lot.
Blue collar or white collar?
Well, that's a great mix.
A blue collar concert?
Well, we'll be ready for
the white collar. The white collars want a blue collar sometimes.
Well, yeah, for sure. We're changing gears a little bit. In the past, we've done a lot of country music. This year, we're going to mix it up with some the Southern Rock and Roll for both of our events. June 13th, we have our lineup is going to be the Hurricane, Steel Velvet, Popstar Drive, and Mason Dixon. And then we have Wade Preston playing the keyboard on the patio. And we're going to be ripping up great food all day long. You know Wade Preston at all? He played Billy Joel on Broadway.
Oh,
Billy Joel handpicked him.
Really?
Yeah. And then Mason Dixon.
For Billy Joel's his ballet that he had?
It was like played his life. Like he's the musician that played Billy Joel on Broadway.
Oh.
Yeah. Wade's a great guy. You got to meet him this time. He's a great guy. And then
June 13th.
Yeah, Mason Dixon is a local band. They were the first band when we built our pond, built that. Remember I told you the first party we had, we blew out the barn. It was way too many family. And they were the first ones to come over. Dave Maciak. You know, I met Dave Maciak, Dick Locken's nephew. Wonderful people, good people connect. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it is. But Mason Dixon have a great band. They're fantastic. And then Popstar Drive, I know for a fact Marzelli was a year or two younger than me in school, but he was playing at our high school dances. That's how long ago. I got a lot of gray on my chin. But he was playing then, and now they're even better. If you like 70s and 80s, everybody goes nuts. You have to dance to their music. You cannot sit down. All of a sudden, you're like, uh-oh, I'm happy.
They play cover bands or original?
They play covers, okay. Yeah, and they're just fantastic.
There's something about great cover band.
It's fantastic. Wait to hear Popstar Drive.
Because you don't feel. I feel like here we go, living in the moment again. Like if I went to a Journey concert, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I have to record all of this. But the beauty of the cover band is you don't feel as much pressure to be like, oh, this is the last time I'll ever see them again, or this is the last tour you'll ever see. You can just be there.
Yes. And be happy and dance and like look carefree for a couple hours. I call those days like, hey, I'm going to take a 6-hour mental vacation. I'm not going to worry about anything because the work's all done. We're going to listen to music and we're going to enjoy ourselves. It's so hard, in the rat race we live in, to find that anymore. Mm-hmm. And I'm envious that our grandparents and our parents, they worked hard too, don't get me wrong, but they always took time, and we had a little faster pace, But our second concert, the 27th, I'm really excited about this show. Again,
both of them are in June?
Yes, June 13th and June 27th. The 27th, we're trying to put a little money together and help, like we do with our barbecue tournament at Camp Freedom. Well, with the hospital, it's not the hospital, it's the Wyoming County Healthcare Facility. Mm-hmm. They do a great job. So we're going to raise some money for them. And again, we have Wade Preston coming to play on the patio. And we have Mason Dixon and Popstar Drive. And then we have this national band, these kids that I met a few years ago, them Dirty Roses. Now, they write all their own music. They're phenomenal. These kids are doing what, Leonard Skinner did in the 70s and 80s. They are that style. They're just wonderful. They really are. James is the lead singer. Frank's the drummer. Andrew is the lead guitarist, kind of writes the music. And Ben Crane plays bass, just 4 of them. They pulled into our place 3 or 4 years ago, and they pulled in a red van with a red trailer. And the license plate on the van said, "Eat more possum." And it had a possum hanging from a tree limb. And I said, wow, they're going to fit in here.
That was the license plate?
Yes, the front.
Oh, okay.
Not the back, the license plate. Yeah.
I'm thinking of vanity plates.
Yeah, a vanity plate, yes. They're vanity plate. Yes, excuse me.
How did this happen?
Yeah, but it was pretty neat, and they're good kids. They opened for Kid Rock all this last week before. They're opening for him right now.
Have you ever eaten possum?
No, but coon and beaver and everything like that we eat.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not eating a space rat. Although you don't want to kill them because they'll eat the ticks.
Right.
You know that. Don't take any possums out. They're good for us. But it was like, I laughed because my older uncle, he died 20 years ago. Not about 10 years ago, I guess. He had one on the front of his Toyota truck because he was a coon hunter. He taught us how to coon hunt, taught us how to trap and hunt. And he had one of those years ago on the front of his little Toyota truck. I saw that and it triggered, wow, they're going to fit. It was the same vanity plate that I'd seen when I was a kid. So it was pretty neat. But yeah, them Dirty Roses.
A little sign.
Yes. Yeah. Look those guys up and listen to their music. They're fantastic. Yeah, they are. So they're going to come in, and that's going to be a great show. And all the proceeds are going to the Wyoming County Healthcare Facility.
Wow. How can people find out about these concerts and how to go?
They could check out Greenley's Barbecue on Facebook.
Okay.
They can go to the website. They can call either one of the restaurants. Hit the call bar on Facebook. That's usually my cell phone. Yeah, come on down.
How is it having your cell phone on your Facebook page? Do you
I need a secretary. I need someone to answer my phone. It's like, my wife will say, well, you're on your phone a lot. I'm like, this phone controls our whole life. It's not like I'm scrolling Facebook and checking this out. And hey, buddy, it's like, okay, boom, boom, boom. It's like everything. It's how do you want to say it? It's great, but it's also, I
have the same conversation with my husband because I'll be scrolling and scrolling. He's like, why don't you read a book? And I'm like, you're on your phone all day. He's like, I'm trying to help people navigate the federal government right now. What do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I guess I could put the videos about people doing ASMR, like when people crack wax or like they cut soap.
Yeah.
Those.
That
I'm
drives
one
you.
of those weirdos that's like, oh, let me watch them crack this soap again.
I can honestly say I've never checked that out, but I'm gonna now for sure.
They dice up the soap, and then they take like a pocket knife, and then they almost peel it like you would peel an apple. And there's just something about like the noise and the texture. It just like scratches your brain in a certain way.
I think I like you.
I
think I like you more than I did before after your soap explanation, because I'm sitting here going, wow, that might be a stress relief. I might need to check that out.
Some people come to Camp Freedom and walk around. Some people watch videos about people cutting soap.
Nice. I like that.
But I came here early today, so I could look for 4-leaf clovers outside. I didn't find any yet.
Oh, really?
But
I do notice that when I do check out, how many people saw the video. We make a video every week. We give away tickets to the concert. And then this week, we're going to give away 2 free passes for food all day.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of cool. And I go on there to check that out, basically. And I was like, wow, my daughter, Olivia, is a wonderful, wonderful young lady. But 2 people that are almost alike, how they kind of battle.
Mm-hmm.
So we battle a little bit. And I'm like, compromise, our negotiation is we each compromise a little bit. And knowing that, you're going to be happy. Well, she's telling me we have to do this now. I was like, I don't know. It was like, I saw the numbers. I was like, okay, Liv, why don't you take the ball and run with this? Because obviously she's, 600 people that liked it, shared it, whatever. And then she came up with this little wheel for the free tickets. She put everybody's name in a little slot on her phone and spun the wheel. And then she gave away the tickets. Like, I don't know how to do that. And I was, in the 70s, we were changing over to the metric system. That was the biggest thing in our school, But still different today. They grew up in a totally different information age.
Okay. So people can win tickets to these things.
Yes.
These events too on your Facebook page.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Win tickets. They could also win, food vouchers. You know what I mean?
Oh, so come to the concert, but you get free food.
Well, yeah, if you win a voucher, for sure. For sure.
What kind of food will you have at the concert?
We'll have pulled pork, we'll have brisket, we'll have burgers, we'll have, the 27th, it's going to be a little different. We're going to do a seafood boil for that one. But we're basically going to do, beef ribs, and we're going to have a poverty lunch too. We're going to have beans and rice, $5. There's a whole half gallon. Take it away. Because you don't know who's coming. I don't care who comes. I want you to be happy. I want you to smile. And we try to keep our prices down all the time. So it's kind of funny the way we say it, but it's like, what's cheaper than beans and rice? Nothing. If you make them good flavor, I like eating them. You know what I mean? You get good beans and rice. It's tough today with the price of, beef and everything else. So
what's in the seafood boil?
We put clams, shrimp, 4-ounce lobster tails, corn, potatoes, and our homemade sausage.
Wow.
It's banging.
There's a place on the internet as well where you can just watch people eat seafood boils.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
It'll pop up on your phone now that we said it out loud.
That's
but
cool.
There are people that just will open up a seafood boil bag, cut it, and just, watch me eat this. And it's just like messy and gross. But the videos are all over the place.
But they're delicious.
Yeah. And so you vicariously eat a seafood boil with this person.
Now, I never really even ate much seafood because we were a farm family.
Yeah.
And, with all the gas industry up here, this gentleman came through, Joe, and he was the leader of the welding gang, the fire line. And he said to me, he liked the barn, and he asked if his dog could swim in the pond. And I'm like, of course. So he goes, I want to show you something. And I'm like, what are you going to show me? And he's like, he was a shrimper his whole life from the bayou. Yes. He goes, I would like to teach you one thing while I'm here. And I'm like, what's that? How to take care of shrimp, cook shrimp. And he showed me. And I was like, I'll make you a shrimp po' boy. You'll think you're in New Orleans. And it's just the way they do it there. It's different. Again, cultures around the America.
You found your Bubba.
Yes. Joe was Bubba Gump of, Joe.
Yeah.
And then we talked about a boil. And he's like, oh, yeah, I can do this. And there was another guy that worked up here, Anthony, which was below, it's I-10, I believe. If you're below I-10, you are a true Cajun. And Joe was. And Joe goes, oh, yeah, he's good. And Anthony goes, let me show you something, Jimmy, because we're a little bit better down here. And I laughed a little bit. So I took the best of both worlds and we started making a seafood boil.
Wow.
And that's the good thing about Bill and Laura here with Camp Freedom. I made a seafood boil for them. And, everybody does it a little bit different. Then all of a sudden, somebody else wanted a seafood boil that was a Camp Freedom donor. And somebody else wanted it. Well, now we're going to do one for down Lehigh Valley. And Bill goes, can we put it in bags? Because you get better every time you do it. And he is I look up to him as far as the wonderful, giving person. But he's so smart and so intelligent. I feel smarter after a 15-minute conversation. And he goes, let's get bags and put it in. Because we don't put it in a bag. We put ours in a cooler. And then you pick out of the cooler. Well, the problem is, you might like lobster, so you take 7 lobsters and everybody else doesn't get their lobster.
Right.
So if we're going to bag it, and that won't crush the potatoes either. So we had a great conversation about that. And I was like, right, Billy, that's a good idea. So together you just be open-minded and learn. So, yeah.
How did you find out about Camp Freedom?
Actually, I was doing an event at my farm for, then it was Cabot. And George Stark, love that guy. Bill DeRosia, fantastic people. And they brought this guy, Matt, with them. And I work, I'm consumed with my party. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? Pleasure to meet you, this, that. But you don't know someone. And I was meeting everybody, going through the party. And then they asked me to come over here, Cabot did, and do a luncheon for them. And then when I got over here, Matt goes, I was at your place. He goes, I was like, really? He goes, yes, I was there with George and Bill. I'm like, oh, that's great. He goes, I know. I was like, I apologize. You know what I mean? He goes, no, don't.
A little busy.
Yeah, a little busy right now. But then I got to meet him over here. And then it was meeting Birdman. And then it was G. And then it was Frankie and the whole gang. I mean, how do you not like Doc and Mike? Oh my God. Everybody here is, again, here I go back to it. Good people find each other because actually we feed off each other. And it just makes sense, and everybody I met here, I've loved. And then I wish we could do more, but it's like, okay, we got to make a living too. You know what I mean? Yeah. But
I think it's so funny when you say the names of people who are here and you're like, Doc, Birdman, G.
Yeah,
all these
they all got a
names.
handle.
We sound like we're a group of superheroes.
They are though.
Yeah.
Think of what they do. It's like once I saw and witnessed with my own eyes, you don't realize that for 20 some years, our nation just shoved these young men out the door. And then when they came back, all right, you're on your own. That's not right. And Bill and Laura had the integrity, the knowledge, the willing. How do you not help them? How do you not help Matt, G, Birdman? How do you not? Like, it's like, I don't know if it's just because I sleep better at night. I don't know, but I love it. You know, same thing with, we've helped United Way. We help every high school program we try to help because kids are the only innocent thing in the world, you know, until they get corrupted by everybody else. But I love helping people. That's what it is. And you have to, my wife says to me, hey, you got to remember, you can't give away the whole farm. I'm like, I know. We got to cut back a little bit and, you know, we got to make some more money this summer.
Right.
But that's what I like doing. What's better than getting a great night's sleep? Not much. And it, you know, helping Camp Freedom. Every time we're done, we smile all the way home. My wife goes, you're goofy. I'm like, I just think it's fantastic. Everyone you meet, then you see what they're doing. You hear about their stories. How do you not love Tom Yeager? Him and I met each other for the first time a few years ago. And it's pretty funny. Us together. He's charismatic. I'm charismatic. It's funny. I love that man.
He's episode number 2 for anybody listening that wants to go back and learn more about Tom Yeager.
Yeah, Tom's a wonderful guy, special guy, just like everybody else here. But yeah, Tom's like, yeah, we hit it off pretty good. I went down to his house and then, you know, he comes over to our house and I was like, hey, my son-in-law gives back to the Ronald McDonald House. My first grandson was, you know, premature and had a hard time. And it was 2020, COVID. Ronald McDonald House wasn't open. And I said, well, you got to do something. 30 days after the hospital's kicking him out, you can't stay here anymore. So Ryan and Paige called the Ronald McDonald House and they got him a hotel right next to the hospital. The very next year, Ryan and Paige started Mustache Outdoors. And it's a big buck contest. And then we have a banquet at our gathering center. And we raise money and we give it back to Ronald McDonald House. Yeah, that makes you feel good. They helped us. They helped them when they needed it. You know what I mean? So you got to look at Mustache Outdoors and the big buck contest. And we just had it 3 weeks ago. I think we raised like $9,000 one night. That's awesome. You know, we're not millionaires by any means. We go to work every day. But that's cool when you see young people like that giving back, and they're all like Ryan's age. I mean, there's some of my friends too, but they're all young guys. There's hope in this world. It's only the 2%.
Yeah. So how many children do you have?
I have 3 children.
Okay.
I have Ethan, who's my oldest son, and then I have Paige, and then I have Olivia. Ethan's married to Kate. They have 2 wonderful children. They have Nora, and then they have Jake. And Paige has Eli and Barrett, 2 boys. Barrett was the oldest. He was the one that had a little issue, a preemie. And then Olivia has Sloan, which Sloan's like a superstar on Facebook already at 4 years old. And Bodie. Yeah, he's a little stinker. I've 5 years ago, I had no grandchildren. I have 6.
What?
Yes, it's like, okay, guys, that's enough. We don't, we're going to have to open 5 more restaurants to support them, but they're great. You never think as a parent, you love your children. You do anything for them. And then you have grandchildren. And it's not, you don't love them more. It's a different style love because you could send them home after you sugar them up. Well, you could have ice cream. It's 8:00. They can't have ice cream. I'd load them up with ice cream and send them home. Isn't that awful? But that's the beauty of being, they call me G-Pop and they call Marnie Dobby. I don't know where, Barrett did all that. I don't know where that came from. But yeah, that's, we're not Grandma and Grandpa. We're G-Pop and Dobby. I don't know, but it fits. So wear it,
Yeah, G-Pop.
Yeah.
Oh, my father did not want the G word.
Yeah.
He was like, nope, not into it. So we call him Opa.
The first time I heard it, I was like, am I a white rapper? Or it sounds like Jeep. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, but then it's great. They all, they can't wait to get over there and have fun. That's for sure.
Yeah.
We do have some fun. But, so what else do you want to talk about?
Well, what else do you have going on with Camp Freedom this year?
Well, we're going to the banquet that they have the 20th. That's why our concerts are the 13th and the 27th. We had to adjust our schedule. Matt said to me he goes, hey, could you open up the 20th? And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, sure. And it was like one of those things. I can't remember everything, but I try.
Right.
So we're going with them. And then we always do their August party they have here. For
Summer Salute.
Summer Salute. Everybody's welcome. I always come up here and do that with them. We do most of their Gun Fest with them also. And then, whatever when they call, I'm like, yeah, we're there. So far, that's what we have going on.
What have you noticed about what happens at Camp Freedom for the veterans and first responders that come here?
They smile when they leave, and they're not content with themselves when they come. Like when you're here at Camp Freedom, you're right where you need to be. Because if you need to come here, just come here. Get with Matt, get with one of those guys and come here and heal your mind with outdoor activities. And it does. It works. It does. I watched it work. I've seen the people that I've met for the first time and say, oh, that poor gal or that poor guy, man, can't unsee what they've seen or whatever their issue is. And then you see them 6 months later. Hey, Jim, how's it going? I'm like, awesome. I was like, it works, and then I was all in because I'm that guy. It's like, if I'm all in, I'm all in 100%. I'm all in, whatever they need. You know what I mean? I enjoy it and it is fun. And it's just like helping people, but you see that what they do here, and I can't even imagine it. Like 15 years ago, I'd be like, oh, really? They're going to do that? Oh, okay. But then all of a sudden you get a look at the inside and how it operates and how efficient they run. That's one thing I will say, because there's a lot of, things out there that want us to help them. And you're like, okay, let's see the bottom line. Camp Freedom, they're real. They help people. They're not here for a big cloud cover and a billboard. They're here. They get their hands dirty. Every one of them work, diligently and efficiently, and it just works. It's beautiful. Not only a beautiful setting, but it heals people.
And that was something that kind of surprised me too. Until I started spending time here, I didn't realize how involved the executive staff is. Like Matt's going out on all these hunts, and he's spending one-on-one time with each of these people that are here. And so is Birdman.
Mm-hmm.
Angie, and whatever and the rest of the superheroes.
And you don't get Kelly mad at you.
No.
Kelly will straighten you out. And I love that about Kelly, because it's like, that's the way you should be. It's just the way it is, Yes. I love that. I love Kelly. She's, first time I did something for him, Matt says to me, everything okay? I'm like, yeah, why? I knew what he was talking about. Kelly was giving us direction. You know what I mean? It was kind of funny. Their daughter got married over at the farm, and the boys were hustling that day. Just let me tell you, get it the way she wanted it. And it's great, though. It's all good, because that's what she wanted. And we're a service company, and we're only as good as our service. And that's when I said, you know what? She's a gem. That's why they're together. Yeah.
Good people find each other.
Again, there it comes.
That's
right?
the theme.
That's the theme. And it's true, though.
But it's so fun to think how a food truck on Route 6 in Wyoming County catapulted you into all of these circles.
We were just very fortunate.
Yeah.
That's all it was. And like I told you about my children, it doesn't matter what you do. Just do it and run and try to do it better than the next guy, or do the best of your ability. If that's your ability, make sure it's there, And I don't know. It just worked. We were fortunate. That's all I could say, is we were very, very fortunate.
Well, so many people, I think they have to leave NEPA to go and prosper elsewhere. And it's like, no, right here.
Yes, you can.
You can.
No matter what anybody says. And I don't, if you find what you're passionate about and you could figure out a way to make a living with that, you win. It is. It's like you're a winner. I feel like by no means am I a rich person, but I am very rich with family, values, and love what I do. That's like, oh my gosh, there's nothing better. There's nothing better. I'm telling you. I can tell you love what you do sitting over there. You're in your wheelhouse.
I just sit and listen.
Yeah.
And talk sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I'll stop talking now so you can talk.
Well,
more.
oh no, that's okay. You're the star. You're the star of the show.
I don't know if I'm the star of anything, but we're trying.
It's a lot different pace. You know, when I used to go and talk to somebody, it was like, okay, I need to get this answer, this answer, this answer. Hopefully he or she says this in less than 8 seconds, and I have enough for my little mini movie I have to put together.
Remember when you almost ran over me with my tractor?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was it. I was like, you want to drive it? I'm like, oh, okay. Hey, yeah, let that out right there. Whoop, I jumped back. It was funny. It was the closest I ever got to running over. And that's
the closest you ever got to getting
run over the tractor? Yes. You were like, whoa. I was like,
I might have that on video somewhere. I'm gonna have to look.
Look at it. It was classic. You're lucky I'm quick. Yeah. Or I'd have been like in a cast for a few weeks. Yeah. It was funny.
I would have lost.
You're like,
you
said, no, you wouldn't have. I wouldn't have told anybody. You crazy? It's not our style. Not our style. I wouldn't have told anybody. I'd be like, damn, Chelsea. But when you asked if you could drive the tractor, I was like, well, of course.
Well, I never drove a tractor.
I know. That's what you said. I was like, well, you got it then. You got to figure it out. And
it's not as easy
you were
as it
so
looks.
into it.
I think that's what I said. I said, it's not as easy as it looks.
Right. But you were so into it. And I was like, okay, when you're ready, let the clutch up and let me clear. But the clutch was out. I was jumping off the ladder. I was like, oh. So blow the video up. It's pretty cool.
I'll have to find it.
Yeah, that was wild.
If I don't have it on my cell phone, I don't have it. But I'll have to look up the date we did that.
I think you sent it to me.
Okay.
So you probably have it somewhere. Somewhere. That was awesome. That was a great day.
That was a great day.
Yeah, it was. I was like looking at all your little stuff, your little cell phone. I was like, how do you do this with your cell phone?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's just like this. I just said you set up all these things by yourself and go.
Right. Yeah, that was what intrigued me. I was like, wow, that's really cool.
I think I had a GoPro on my chest. I had a GoPro on my head.
And then you would set up the little tripod on the table, and then you started cutting towards yourself. I was like, no, cut away from yourself. You're going to cut yourself. That's how the Boy Scouts get trained, you know.
Yeah.
Cut towards your buddy so he gets bloody.
Oh, gosh.
That's what they teach them. But you don't.
Maybe not anymore.
Well, if you pull the
some parts of the country.
Well, yeah, there you go. That's funny.
Well, I'm happy that we're on the same team here at Camp Freedom.
Oh, yeah. It's great. I'm glad you're here, too, because it was boring without you. No, it wasn't. But yeah, you're going to put a little light on this show, and I think it's going to be fantastic. And you know, you're definitely you're going in the right direction.
Thank you.
I was very, very excited when I heard that you were coming aboard. I said, "Oh man, she's great." He goes, "Yeah, she's nice." I was like, "She's great." That was. I guess I should.
Well, he never saw me drive.
I guess I shouldn't say this, but the biggest loss that NEP had was Chelsea, because even before I knew you, I was following you and the guy from Montrose in the Subaru, because it was hilarious. You would just drive down when there was a flood. The first one I know the first one I saw. You were driving down towards Plymouth or something, and the water was out back of the building, and just your I don't even know how to say it, but you're like charismatic. You were running behind there to get the water. I was like, wow, is she passionate about doing what she's doing? That's what it takes. And I liked you from that point. And I said, Lauren, check it out. There's this Chelsea. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, check it out. So then she started watching. She's like, did you see what she did today? I was like, that was great. Like, that was, you like almost created your own job there.
I did.
Right.
Right. Then so the whole idea of Check It Out with Chelsea, that segment I had, the original idea was for Michael, my photographer, and I to do those things together and branch off of what we did. So we just started going live in the drive-thru of Dunkin' because
it's a drive-thru of Dunkin'. Yeah. Anything could happen.
Anything could happen in the drive-thru.
Right.
But we just started doing that because in our own space, you know, Snapchat was big, and we would just send Snapchats to our coworkers, and we would just talk about the perils of what the local news crew goes through. Like, oh, the wireless microphone didn't show up to work today. So look what we have to do. We're hardwired today.
Yeah.
And I just, at some point, I was just like, Michael, people will think this is funny.
Yeah.
Like, everyone will think this is funny.
He was a big part of that because he would come off and hack you a little bit, and it was epic.
Oh, well, that was the juxtaposition of it. It was the boomer and the millennial.
Yes.
And I didn't have a degree in journalism. I didn't go to school for journalism or broadcasting. I went to school for theater and marketing. Right. And so I took my job seriously. I took everything, when it was time to be serious, it was time to be serious. But when there were times where I was like, I could be playful here. I wanted to be.
The best thing was the improv that you did. It's just like, let it roll. Because that was when it got interesting.
It was truly improv because I'd get in the car with Michael. So in the middle of the pandemic, he'd come down from Montrose. I lived at Harvey's Lake. So he would just come down 29, pick me up, and we'd carpool that way. And because that way we could just go right off to our assignment. We didn't have to meet up anywhere.
Right.
And I'd say, Michael, I have this idea. We're going to talk about this, this, and this. Okay? He'd be like, okay. And then would happen. So I almost knew we worked very well together.
Yes, you did very well.
And I have all those videos because there was a point where Facebook was like, oh, we're deleting all live videos now. So if you have these live videos, you need to download them because they're going to go away. Like they're taking up too much space in Facebook world. So I downloaded all of them and then I started uploading them to YouTube, but I need to get back to it.
It was just epic. They were, it was, we were just captivated and it was great. And I was like, wow.
People still talk to me about it. People will be like, oh,
yes,
cameraman.
We're talking about it today because it was great.
Yeah. And they were like, you guys got me through the pandemic. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. And then you came out for one of our concerts and you're like, hey, I want to come out and do a segment. I was like, of course.
Oh, so anyway, Check It Out with Chelsea was supposed to be Check It Out with Chelsea and Michael. Check It Out with Chelsea and Mike. And then he and I would go and look at something and he would have the lens of the boomer and I would have the lens of the millennial and there would be something funny that happened there. And then he ended up taking the opportunity to retire. So then it just became Check It Out with Chelsea. But that was meant to be a segment about that branched off of those live videos.
He was an awesome guy. And
oh, he's the best.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think that was a huge on their part. But look where you're at. Hey, well knowing you're right where you're supposed to be.
Right.
That fit today too.
Well, and everything does happen for a reason. I mean, my sister, at the same time that was all going on, my sister's breast cancer came back.
Oh.
And she lives 40 minutes from DC. So it was kind of like, you know what, I didn't, if I want to spend time with my sister and help her with her 9-year-old and be there for her when she needs a chemo buddy or needs somebody to cook dinner or pick him up from school that week, I go down there now on her. I try to line it up as best I can between Rob's schedule and her chemo weeks, so I can be there to help.
It worked out.
It's weird to say that everything happens for a reason, and I'm thankful that it happened that way. It's weird to use the term gratitude and thankful around cancer diagnoses, but there's a weird way to be grateful around that whole thing.
It worked out.
Yeah. So like she's still doing treatment and we have to find a new treatment now because cancer likes to be a jerk and get used to treatment and then mutate. So we're on that journey now, but she is feeling good enough to go on a trip to Italy with her husband.
Fantastic.
So she's going to do that. And then Opa has to hang out with Duke, the 9-year-old, for 10 days. And I'm like, you know what, Dad? I think I'm going to come down there and help you out with that.
Sure.
Because Opa might need help with the 9-year-old.
Yes.
By himself.
For sure.
But yeah, everything does happen for a reason. We're right where we need to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And be content knowing that.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That's fantastic. It's like full circle. How small is the world? You said it earlier.
Yeah.
The world's really.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you go somewhere with Rob will wear his University of Scranton sweatshirt somewhere, and we'll be who knows where we are, and somebody will say something. Oh, yeah, I'm from Pennsylvania.
Yeah. My brother went to that school.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
Or,
small
my
world.
aunt's from Oliphant. And it's like, no way.
Yeah. A lot of that stuff goes on. A lot of that
NEPA
stuff.
is the center of the universe, and we used to say it in the news all the time. Like, oh goodness, how on earth is some national story going to be connected to NEPA? Well, it'll find a way, and it'll
quite a few of them.
Oh gosh,
right?
Oh yeah, the good and the ugly and the bad, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Good, bad, and the ugly, right?
Find their way home to NEPA.
Yep, they do, and the good people kind of like birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more.
They flock here at Camp Freedom.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I just saw there's some goslings out there.
Yeah.
And they were eating the clover. I said, you watch yourselves. You don't be eating my 4-leaf clovers.
That's where all your 4-leaf clovers went this morning. They got them before you did.
They did.
That's all right. That's good. That's a circle of life.
I got the video up to prove it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here.
Hey,
thank you for supporting Camp Freedom.
Thank you for having me. And it's my pleasure to support Camp Freedom. It definitely is. I enjoy coming here to work more than anywhere, and I think it's great. And like I said, Bill and Laura, right down through Matt and everybody else that's here, they're fantastic. And thank God Bill and Laura are gracious enough to do this.
And let us do this. Let us have this.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. I thank you for having me.